Hey, welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
And we're back with the camera.
Oh, yeah, we are. Nice. We didn't record last week.
Cheers, babe.
Cheers.
Today, guys.
Dutch Bros.
We're Dutch Bro in it. So, I don't know where they're based from.
I think it's here in California.
They're California based, but they're not in, so we moved from the Bay Area. They're not in the Bay Area.
No.
They're like more like Central California.
From what, we're guessing, but yeah,
Right? Like,
I think so.
It's good, man. I like it. Dutch Bros, man.
Where were we recently where I seen they had a Dutch Bros? Oh, I was in Sonoma. They had a Dutch Bros out there. Yeah.
See, I'm telling you, that's like Central California.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I'm drinking tea. Jerome's drinking an energy drink from Dutch Bros. They have like sugar-free.
So Sarina put me on game when we went to Washington,
Washington State, which is where I'm kind of grew up at.
Like 5 years ago, there's this little coffee spot, and what they do is they get red.
What's the name of that coffee spot?
Jimmy's. You said?
Jimmy's.
They get Red Bulls, sugar-free or regular ones, and then they mix them with like the syrups. And then I've never had those before, so I don't know if that's like a thing. And people are like,
good.
"How late are you to this game?" But it was funny though because you introduced me to that, and then I remember like looking for them everywhere when we came back from the
Can't find them.
And like places will have the syrups, but then they're like, we don't carry energy drinks, so we can't do it. And it's like all the coffee, no one had it, but Dutch Bros has their own energy drinks.
Smart.
And they do all kinds of fucking flavor mixing. Like they put it on.
Not an ad for Dutch Bros.
No, free.
But that's where the caffeine's coming from today. I'm drinking green tea, and Jerome has his energy drink from Dutch Bros.
Oh, it's so good. I love it.
Yeah. But anyways, welcome back to the podcast. We are recording on a Wednesday today, and our last podcast we said we're going to start recording on Wednesday. Here we are.
Not only did we say we're going to record on Wednesday, though, but we did say we're going to record in the morning, and it's actually...
That didn't happen.
It's 3:18, and here we are again, buying caffeine.
I don't know. I'm telling you, we won't spend a lot of time talking about this because we talked about it last week, but it's another one of those days where I'm just like, can we take a nap?
Dude.
I'm done. And I haven't even worked today.
It's like that post 12 p.m. hits, dude.
It's just some days. It's not every day.
You eat lunch and it just gets you.
No, but it's weird because the days I have client calls, I can go all... Yesterday I worked I had calls from 10 to 5:30. And then today I'm just like,
Ow.
It's so weird. It's pregnancy, though. I don't know what your excuse is.
For being tired?
Yeah.
I went to sleep pretty late last night.
Every night. But what are we talking about on the podcast today, babe?
Netflix gets me crazy.
Netflix. What were you watching?
Babe, what do I always watch?
Peaky Blinders.
Yes. Trying to finish it.
What's on the agenda today?
Dude, I just read that Denmark becomes the first country to suspend AstraZeneca vaccine over concerns.
Okay, we're not... Shut your laptop, first of all.
I just had it open. Sorry, I usually have it open. But yeah, what we're going to talk about today, we're going to pick up where we left off last week, which is we got a mini series going here.
We kind of do, yeah.
Last 2 episodes ago, we talked about Sarina getting her coronavirus vaccine, which was the...
Coronavirus vaccine.
Her COVID-19 vaccine, which she did bravely, and everything turned out well. So we're happy. And then the podcast after that, we talked about...
It's also officially been 3 weeks since I got my vaccine, which is good.
You want to give an update? How do you feel?
Tired.
Do you have blood clots?
No, someone commented on my TikTok video today and they said 1 word or 2 words, blood clots. And I was like... 2 words, 3 weeks. Gosh.
You said that?
No, but I wanted to, and then I was like, Sarina, don't engage. Don't engage with the peanut gallery like your dad would say. Yeah. No talking to the peanut gallery.
But so the first episode was part 3. So first episode we talked about the COVID vaccine. And then the second episode we talked about how you felt so far in this experience.
Yeah, which was last week. Past
8 months.
Dude.
Basically, right?
Yeah.
7.5 months.
We're 8 months now.
Now you wanted to talk about this week where we kind of piggyback back off of last week's. Just the game plan of giving birth, the big final push, the big bang.
Dude.
It's like the final match. It's like you do a tournament. It's like a tournament, and this is the final match.
It feels like when I did prep for bikini bodybuilding.
Yeah, or that, yeah.
And it's like a 16-week prep, and you have to do all this stuff to get ready, and it's such a mind fuck.
It's almost peak week for you, Dude,
that's exactly how it feels. I need to dehydrate my body and do all the things.
Your body does it on its own naturally.
It's wild. No, So I think we had talked about just all of the things that we are doing to prepare this time. Yeah, which is, I'd say, some unconventional things, right? Like,
why don't you start by talking about your last pregnancy experience? And where you were at this point in your last pregnancy. I'd say.
Well, I think, I know we've talked about that a lot on the podcast, so I'll kind of make it brief.
Yeah, like a little summary.
Yeah, just in case you are just happening to listen to this episode and you hadn't heard the previous episodes. But we have talked about this pretty in depth when we found out we were pregnant.
Yeah.
I was pregnant. I hate when people say we are pregnant,
because I got to deal with it. Just kidding.
But yeah, so with Alex, my son, he's almost 9 now, so it's been almost 9 years since I gave birth to him. And with him, I'll just like fast forward almost to my, I guess, just birth experience, my labor experience. It just wasn't good, you know? Like, I had in my mind, I did want to have a natural birth.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, yeah, I'm going to have a natural birth. Like, that's the plan. Like, it wasn't, like, set in stone. I didn't have a birthing plan. I just was like, yeah, like, I want to give birth natural.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Did you do any classes, or did you read anything?
I did classes at the hospital. So, very traditional hospital classes with my best friend, with Selena.
Yeah.
We did those classes, and we, you know, learned how to breathe, and I don't even know what they teach you, but it's all very like medical based, right? Mm-hmm. So it's just teaching you how to breathe and how to, I don't know what the hell they teach. All I know is when I gave birth, I didn't even think about the class.
It's the first thing, he just went out the window.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? So it's like, cool, so I want to have a natural birth. Like, I knew that, but I didn't plan beyond that. There was no plan. First mistake.
Okay.
Second mistake, going to those birthing classes in the hospital, like, hey, at least I did it.
Yeah.
But you can't just take a class. Now you have to practice these things up until you give birth, right? Yeah. Like we were saying, it's like when I did a bikini bodybuilding prep. This is a funny comparison, but my point is, I can't just say I want to go step on stage in a bikini and win this competition.
Yeah.
Now I have to work out every single day and prepare my body for it. When you take those birthing classes, and maybe I don't remember, but there was no like, now practice these things.
Yeah, it was just like informative.
Cool, you took the class, awesome.
Yeah. It's like on you.
Exactly. And so, and I was like addicted to like learning about it. Like, you know how I am, very type A, very organized. Like, I really was like.
We have one of those cool personality traits that's not kind of cool, because sometimes it can be a little. Serena will like discover fucking
something
archery, and all of a sudden she's trying to go to the Olympics for archery, and you're like, what, dude? We went to have fun.
Dude, when I figured I'm really good at rock climbing.
Oh, dude, here you go.
But yeah, no, and so I was the same way. So I did learn a lot. I mean, I hate when people were like, well, you were just so young. Okay, yes, and I wasn't a total fucking retard. Like,
don't say that word.
Idiot, whatever. Like, I'm just saying, like, you know, I had someone say to me the other day, like, because I said, like, yeah, my second pregnancy, like, I grew so big so fast.
Yeah.
And that's a thing, like, because your body's already kind of, I laughed and I said, you know, your body's like already opened up.
Yeah.
And none of the people I was talking to, I don't think, except for one, has kids. And she was like, well, no, it's probably just because with your first birth, like, you were just so young and you were so small. And I was like, well, I think that's just my body.
Yeah.
No matter what, if I still didn't have kids, I would have been that small. Like, I would have been the same person.
Would have not mattered.
Yeah, it wouldn't have made a difference. But my point is, I don't know what the point of that was, but I was thinking, I still was trying to educate myself a lot on my own. And I think that's the thing. And I think that's what kind of ticks me off about pregnancy, is people still don't know so much, and it's so not okay. And I think those are the things that like fire me up, that I get super passionate about, and that ends up being my profession.
We're gonna talk about that today.
Yeah, because but my point is, like, it ends up being my profession somehow, because I get so angry of like the lack of education out there, and people think it is just the way it is, and I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And I'm experiencing that. We're experiencing that now with pregnancy and birth.
Yeah. So I mean, that like just.
So yeah. So I gave birth. I went into labor. It wasn't a long labor. I mean, I went into labor at like 1. I was having cramps for 24 hours, like the contractions, and then officially went into labor at 1 p.m. Had Alex at 10:30. I pushed for 30 minutes, and he was out. But I got to 4 centimeters dilated. The pain hurt so bad. I had no techniques, no tools, no support system of a natural birth. And I immediately asked for the epidural, got the epidural. It lasted for about maybe like 2 hours or so. And then I started feeling everything. And I was just like, what is happening? They didn't offer to give me anything else, which is kind of weird because I think a lot of other people were like, yeah, and then they gave me this and then they gave me that.
Yeah.
And I ended up feeling like it's almost like the epidural like wore off. It was weird. Like it just didn't work. And so then I ended up feeling everything and I wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah.
And I just, there was like, the doctor was like threatening, like, okay, if you don't start pushing, like, we're going to put you in a C-section, or if you don't start pushing, we're going to use the clamps to pull the baby out, like all the
disclaimer
things.
Now we know isn't, I mean, it's not wrong for them to say, but, like,
it's like the fear mongering. Yeah, it's fear tactics.
It's like, daddy chill.
So that's that. To me, it was not a good experience. I don't look back at that very fondly.
You said it was kind of traumatic.
I didn't know, even in my own research and my birthing classes from my mother, from my family members, I didn't know you have to push out the placenta after you give birth. That's insane to me.
Yeah.
That I didn't, no one tells you that or the healing process. Like, I didn't know I had to wear a diaper and I couldn't wipe myself for days
explicit.
But any mother, any human listening to this is like, there's so much to it that we don't talk about. It's like the secret. It's like, oh my God, what? You have a period as a woman? No, really?
I'm going to just head out of this conversation.
But it's all these things, and that's what we've now, so like fast forward to now. So it's kind of just a shock.
No, but I know what you're saying. I always ask him, like, well, what happens right after you have the baby? Like, what happens to you? Like, you're not just like, put back together, right? I'm like, damn, a baby just came out. Like, oh, you're just good. You just walk away. Like, no.
Dude,
it's the aftermath you're talking about.
So that's that. In a nutshell, if you want to know the whole experience, we did talk about it.
Did we?
When we first found out we were pregnant, we went into like a full gory details of my experience.
I think you did, yeah. You go back
I don't know what episode it is, but so this time, I think for starters, the first thing we've done to make this experience different is, I think the very first thing I did was sign up for prenatal yoga.
Which is already so different from how you were, I want to say 8 years ago. I almost want to say 10 years ago.
Dude, it seems like forever.
Yeah, but like forever ago, like that's already, like you're already you're such in a different place mentally.
Yeah.
Where it's like, that's like such a powerful tool because now you're a yoga instructor. So you know how powerful yoga can be, like to your mind, to your body. First thing you did, you found out you're pregnant, you signed up for a yoga prenatal course. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it speaks volumes. I think before I was just I was young, but also I was just the average, like, go to the gym, stop going to the gym, go to the gym, stop going to the gym, eat junk food, that sort of thing. And now is like, I have that. I mean, I definitely have a different body than I had before. Like, all of these years of strength training and yoga have paid off, and I have a strong meditation practice. Like, I do meditate regularly. Like, strongly, though.
Like, I really lean into it.
Yeah, like, we're talking like this is a weapon for Sarina. It's like yoga in general, too.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you're already such a different person than you were that moment, those years ago.
Yeah,
where it's like, the first thing, like, oh, I'm pregnant, I'm going to sign up for this prenatal yoga course.
Yeah, so I signed up for a Kundalini prenatal yoga course, which Kundalini is just, without going into too much detail, it's just like a form of your yoga.
Now, if I'm a woman and I just became pregnant and I don't know about anything about yoga, anything about this Kundalini, sounds funny.
Kundalini.
Yeah, but like what would I get from that?
Yeah, so the prenatal yoga course, I mean, first of all, the benefits of yoga to your body and your mind are just astronomical. And then you compare that to the benefits of that's giving your baby. It's just so good. But the reason that I chose the Kundalini prenatal course, like Jerome said, I didn't just sign up for the course. There is just a online course only option, so you can just go through it as like a user. Of course, I signed up for the certification so I can also be certified in prenatal yoga. But the thing about it that I like the most is there's such a spiritual aspect to it. And when I say spiritual, I just mean like meditation, like a strong meditation aspect to it. it's very mental. So like when you're doing the yoga, like, you know, you'll never have contractions for more than 2 minutes.
Did you know that before?
No.
See, boom, there's a big one right
You'll do the yoga poses and you'll hold certain things for 2 minutes. And it's not hard. Like, you're sitting down on the floor on some of them, but you're just holding your arms out for 2 minutes because your mind's going to say quit, quit, quit. And it's teaching you to keep going, to stay strong.
It's like
she'll say things like, okay, now get strength from your baby. And all of a sudden you're like, fuck, I can't put my arms down now. I got to keep them up for my baby.
That's like when you're teaching your hot yoga and then you're doing that squat. What's that called?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Oh my gosh, I literally can't even think on the spot right now.
You're a certified yoga teacher.
Anyway, I really
You
can't
hold
think
it,
right
it's
now.
that squat and you're on your tiptoes, and then the lady told me one time, she said, who are you holding up?
Yeah.
I said, let me hold this for 10 more minutes.
And so I think that's what I like about Kundalini. Cool. And there's a lot of like energy cleansing. One of the first things that I started learning how to do was just kind of like, it just feels, I mean, I'm obviously like very into like the yoga culture and all the things, but like having a practice where, you know, like everyone's negativity can like crowd your space.
Yeah.
So having a practice with yoga where you kind of like clear that energy out of your life, it just feels really good.
I guess that speaks on like how much you've grown since you've had your last baby, right?
Yeah.
Like you're just in a different headspace.
Totally different.
Different mental game.
Yeah.
We'll see if it pays off, guys.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Well, it's interesting because I didn't start realizing that so much until more recently. So that was the first thing I did.
First thing you did was sign up for the prenatal
yoga. I started doing that regularly. And then after that, we signed up for the Natural Mama birthing course. And that, I think, has paid off already.
Very
like
informative.
Tenfold. Yeah.
We watched the whole thing together.
All online as well, just like the prenatal yoga. And here's the thing that I think makes all the difference. I had Jerome watch the entire course with me. I didn't do it alone.
Yeah.
I think it's easy, especially if you're doing it from home and you're not going to classes together.
Yeah.
It would be really easy for me to just binge the course and do it by myself. But I know there's going to be times, just like as in parenting, there's going to be times when if we're not on the same page, it'll just cause an argument. Yeah. It'll just cause stress for what? Like, why? So during this course, which is basically just a birthing course, but it is based around the idea of having a natural birth, which honestly, I would argue, even if you don't plan on having a natural birth, like you want to have the epidural, it's still an incredible course. Yeah. It's super non-judgmental, non-biased. I mean, I guess it's biased, right? Yeah. To natural birthing. Like, it tells you all the benefits and stuff. But at the same time, there's just so much other education. Like, you can have an epidural and do so many other things, perhaps quote unquote more naturally, or just be more informed on what's necessary and what's not.
Even if you have to, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so, so the birthing course is really good. How'd you like it, babe?
It was cool, man. I mean, some of it was like, I was like a little bored.
Oh, yeah.
But overall, I think for me, especially the way I am, I don't know why, like when it comes to like medical stuff, it just like, it stresses me out. So I like to know like why this is happening, And I think watching that course definitely helps with that. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to be sitting in the pain. Yeah. So all I can really do is just kind of be there. Well, they say like you're my birth partner, right? Yeah. So like you're the supportive partner that's there. And if you don't know, if I have to explain all of this to you, or like, if I'm freaking out, dude, it's gonna, if I have to explain it all to you, or if I'm saying the wrong things and you don't know, then you're gonna say the wrong things. You're not gonna know how to support me. You're not gonna get it. Like, I see that a lot, like with friends. Hey, come on, baby, can't be that bad, dude. I see that a lot with friends and stuff, is like they learn stuff on their own, but if you don't go back and share that with your partner and they actually, like, your partner has to actually absorb it and agree with you and like see what you're saying, it doesn't help you at all, right? Because you're a team. And so I think that was helpful. Like, one of the things that I've learned is like when you're giving birth, is like you do not want to focus on what you don't want. And it's funny because I tell my clients that all the time. So for example, and this is when light bulbs started going off for me. So I learned, and I told you, I said, one of the things is when I'm in labor, don't tell me like, don't clench up or don't do this or just don't do that. Just sit down. Just, you have to just tell me, just relax, breathe. Babe. You have to just tell me what I should be doing. Breathe, relax, this, that, but don't say like, don't do that or don't, you know what I mean? Yeah.
don't stress out or whatever, because your subconscious mind bypasses the word don't.
Yeah.
And so all I hear is freak out. You know what I mean? The little things like that.
You always say that. It's like, I tell you, like, don't think of an octopus.
Yeah.
First thing you do is think of
an octopus. You thought of an octopus. Yeah, exactly. So things like that is what you learn as like the partner, I would say. But I even like went through like the breastfeeding, because like people struggle with breastfeeding, and you know, I didn't struggle with Alex, but you never know, it's a different experience now. And it's like, well, if you don't understand, like, okay, if I give birth and then I'm home and I'm trying to breastfeed and I'm in tears and I'm crying and you don't understand why it's a big deal, that's going to be a problem in our relationship, and just in the moment, it makes things more stressful.
Yeah.
So I think both of us doing that class together was a really big deal.
Yeah. It's like just from like the informative standpoint, like when you get into like everything else that you learn too, it's like, excuse me, it was super beneficial. What's it called?
Mama Natural birthing course.
Shout out to the Mama Natural.
Yeah, she's awesome.
All that information is pretty cool.
I had actually bought her book. She has a book. I bought that first at Barnes & Noble, so when we found out I was pregnant. And then I had been seeing, after that, I started getting all her stuff.
Yeah.
And her birthing course is awesome. And we learned a lot. I mean, there's so many like super controversial things, which I think kind of sucks, because a lot of people don't know. Like, we kind of just think things are still, like, they just are the way they are.
Dude, yeah.
And a lot of times that's not the case.
Dude, from the jump, like what you're wearing.
Yeah, like like
they put
the idea that you have to wear like a hospital gown, or you can't eat when you're in labor.
There's nothing wrong with doing the opposite if you did the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. There's things are like
getting
changing.
An IV.
Yeah, like, do you have to get an IV? Do you have to have continued heart monitoring on the baby? And we're not going to go into like tons of detail on this, but it's just a lot of the things we think like this is just the way it is not just the way it is. What's really cool about the hospital and the insurance that I have is they're actually going more towards the way of natural. And so a lot of these things I'm realizing, like what happened with Alex, like they don't even do it here.
Yeah,
like because they're more natural, and that's awesome. Super cool.
I mean, you've already experienced this with your appointments. Right?
Yeah.
That's a good example.
So like I'm 32 weeks pregnant at my last appointment. They booked my last 2 prenatal appointments. And I was like, what do you mean? Aren't I going to start coming weekly?
Yeah.
You're going to start checking me to see if I'm dilated? And she was like, and I found out like, no, they're actually moving away from that, because you know, they were saying, and we actually are going to talk about this on Friday with our doula. So I don't have like all the information yet, but she was explaining to me that actually checking to see if you're dilated medically has literally no medical purpose, because you can go from 0 centimeters dilated. Dude, well, that's what they've been. I was looking it up too, and they're like, well, so even when I asked my doctor, like, are you going to check me? She's like, well, if you want me to.
Yeah.
But it didn't seem like she was just like, for what? Like, if you must know.
Yeah.
But like, you can go, she could check me, and it's more of a mind fuck than anything. I'm 0 centimeters dilated, which doesn't mean anything, because your body 15 minutes later can go all the way. Like, you know what I mean? So it's really just like a fall. It literally doesn't do anything. And they say most of the time it can give you an infection.
Oof, yeah.
So there's a lot of downsides. So it's just so many things that I think we have to change the way, just like the way that quote unquote things are. Like it's not the way things are. And I think people are starting to learn that.
The thing you told me about the lights was the craziest.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. I just find that so like primal. It's kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
You were saying, what did you say?
Yeah, they were explaining that, was this, I think this was in the course. She was explaining that, you know, we work very similar to like certain animals, right?
Well, yeah, what are we? Mammals?
So, for example, if, you know, a freaking tigress or deer. Okay, there you go. A doe, would it be a doe?
I don't know.
But an animal goes into labor, she'll go find a quiet corner to give birth in. In the dark. A quiet, dark corner where she's safe. Yeah. And if she feels threatened, like if someone shines a light over there or other animals and stuff come around her, her labor will start to stall, and she can get up and she can move and find a different safe location. So when you're in a hospital, doesn't
your body stop producing? Like,
so it literally stalls your labor. It slows it down. So when you go to a hospital, and by the way, we are giving birth in a hospital. We're not giving birth at home. But when you go to a hospital, you have really bright lights shining on you.
I can imagine.
Dude.
Electronics beeping and shit.
Everything. And then you have doctors and people just all around you at all times. And they're like, your body literally is like
rejecting that.
Yeah. So then your labor starts to stall.
That's instinctually.
Yeah, it's literally just a process happening in your body. So they were saying, like, dim the lights, like, ask for visitors to be very quiet.
This is why I'm excited about our doula.
Yes.
She said, she comes in a rec shop. She's like, turn the lights off. I bring my music. I bring my candles.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, hell yeah.
Well, and also they just said, like, it takes the birthing mother out of her zone. Like, I need to focus on what I'm doing and connecting with myself and baby and just, like, working as a team over here in my head and breathing. But every time someone's in and out doing all the things, it messes that connection.
It's like an orgasm.
I guess, man.
Imagine someone just walks in the door, you're like,
oh gosh, I have to do that all over again.
Just kidding.
So, yeah, but there's a lot of things, and I think that's something, I mean, like I said.
That was just like a little quick.
Oh, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, it's just like a quick little thing, and it's just crazy how much like lights affect you and just like the vibe that you have in the room.
Yeah. Just things that we don't learn. Like, why do we not learn this stuff?
Just make your birth go from something that could be like calming to something that's like hectic and you can't do it.
Stalling, now your labor's stalling.
Now you can't. Now you gotta get the epidural, you gotta get the C-section, whatever. You know.
Yeah. And I think, I just think it's interesting. Like, there's so much that we don't naturally just learn. Yeah. Which, I think is starting to change. But I feel really good because of that course going into this birth, more educated. And I know, like, if the doctor says something, it's not just do whatever the doctor says. Yeah. And it's also not anti-doctor. Yeah. It's double check, make sure.
It's
like,
brain, bro.
Yeah. Does this have to happen? Yeah. Like, what are the other options? Like, I think if anything, being educated just empowers you. Mm-hmm. So you don't feel helpless in that situation. And then you do remember, like, doctors are humans, they are people, and they have biases as well. They prefer things to be done in a certain way. And doctors are anyone, like, whoever's birthing your baby. And shout out to the doctors,
because they probably just want to do it the simplest, most like
they just want to get you but the thing is, a lot of times birth are looked at as like a medical process and intervention, and the fact of the matter is our bodies are meant to give birth naturally, and we need medical professionals to be there if something goes wrong.
Exactly.
If we need help. And that's that. And that's exactly why I'm giving birth in a hospital. Yeah. But I think, it's such a team effort, and making sure you have the right people on your quote unquote like birthing team is super important.
Seems like it. Yeah. That's what we've learned so far.
Yeah, and so like having you and the doula there to like...
That's like another thing comparing from your first birth to now, a doula.
We got a doula.
Did you know about that when you were 18?
Dude, no! What the hell? Who the hell knows? Can you tell me what a doula is right now? 18? Do you even know? So a doula...
We have a podcast about that.
Do we?
Yeah. I think that's when you talked about your first birth.
There you go. So a doula is a birthing coach, essentially, and... they really are just there to help you create your birth plan, and then they'll kind of like coach you through that, help you stay accountable to that, like help you stick to that plan, and support you in whatever way necessary. It doesn't mean, once again, people think like, oh, a doula, you can have natural birth, that's crazy, or like whatever. No, it doesn't mean that. If I say I want an epidural, awesome, like getting an epidural, like it doesn't matter. But one thing, like for me, like I do want to have a natural birth. And then at what point, like she needs to know. So like, for example, on my birthing plan, it says don't offer me meds. Mm-hmm. If I want them, I have to ask for them. But if you offer them to a mother in pain,
it's anybody
who's dying, she's gonna want the birth. She's gonna want the drugs.
Make it stop.
So, it's just setting guidelines around that. And then like Jerome and the doula being there to... it's almost like having a code word, right? We have our first prenatal appointment with her on Friday, so I'm excited for that. Yeah. Maybe we can give an update on like the process and what it's like. But
I think what also is cool, like if you are in that pain, I mean, it's not going to kill it, but there's alternatives to what you can do.
So
like,
many.
Hey, like, why don't we try this? Mm-hmm. Like, why don't you sit like this? Why don't you do this?
Get in the shower.
Versus if I'm just there and you're in this pain and we don't know about anything and you're sitting there and you're like, dude, this hurts so bad. Oh my God. Then the doctor just walks in and they're like, hey, do you want this epidural right now? Just make the pain go away. And I'm looking at you.
Too late.
Yeah, and I'm looking at you and you're looking at me and I'm like, I don't know. Does she want it? You're like, it hurts so bad. Is there anything else we can do? The doctor's like, I don't know. Like, I mean, you could try, and then it's just like, okay, give me the drugs.
Yeah, so you have someone there with the education and the tools to keep you on your birth plan.
Exactly. So then, say that pain does come in, and they're like, hey, let's try this, and then it makes the pain go down a little bit, but makes it manageable, and then we continue
it's
the
just
process.
about managing.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So we have the doula, which is another huge thing, which is going to be amazing. And now, like, she's vaccinated and we're vaccinated, and we can be there.
Luckily, we're allowed to have her there, which is super cool, because previously we thought we were going to have her virtually, like on my phone, which is good, but not
it's not the same
as having someone in person. Everybody knows from being on Zoom for the last year.
Dude, not the same.
It's not the same.
And I think she does, like, she could do certain, like, massage things on you and just different things. Yeah, it's birthing is essentially, it's using hypnotherapy to help manage the pain, and also just like your nerves, and like staying calm while you give birth or while you're in labor, right? And so a lot of people were like, what the hell? Okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Depends. But I think, I didn't realize, like, okay, the course is a couple $100. It takes weeks to go through, and you have to practice a lot, like practice hypnosis, which is like practicing meditations. And I realized most of it is educating you on hypnosis, on like how it works and all the things. And I'm already a clinical hypnotherapist.
You're certified, which is crazy, which is so different from, again, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
You had no clue what hypnotherapy was. Now you're a certified clinical hypnotherapy. And I do
it on a daily basis with my clients.
Your clients, yeah.
So I didn't realize. So this is when I had that moment, like, holy shit, I kept saying, I'm so scared to give birth again. I don't know if I could do it. And it's all those things, like the mindset mastery I talk about a lot. And it's like, you can't say those things to yourself. Like, if you say it, you believe it, and you're just going to keep telling your mind that you're scared.
It's like mindset 101.
Yeah. And then, of course, when it happens, like, that's what becomes your reality. So I was like, first of all, stop saying that, Sarina. So I have. And then I just started realizing, oh my gosh, I literally just need to apply all the things I do for my clients to myself.
Yeah.
Like, I'm already doing this for other people and for myself in many other areas of my life. So with the hypnobirthing, I asked my doula, and she was like, because you're certified, you can probably most likely just get the tracks and start practicing them, which basically means listening to them. And versus someone else, I would never recommend that. Like, you need the education, you need to understand how it works, you need the full course.
You did like a whole class in person.
No, like I went and got certified, So I've been doing that as well, and I think that's also it's just a good reminder. A lot of it is just reminders for me. But I also bought you one so you can start listening to it. It was like relaxation for the birthing partner.
That's funny.
Mine is more so like when I go into labor, I do have a playlist for giving birth, and I'm like creating it myself, but it's just a lot of like, one thing I love about my doula is she was like, I don't necessarily recommend practicing breathing techniques. She was like, you just need to know how to breathe. And as a yoga instructor, I do know how to breathe. And she was just saying, like, more so just train your mind. Like, you just need to, it's mindset mastery, dude. It's like, stay calm. Like, you're in control. Like, breathe through the contractions.
This is the ultimate test.
Dude, hypnotherapy is literally like, the hypnobirthing is literally like, you play it is the power of hypnosis, so it is speaking to your subconscious mind and different things of that nature, but it's also just, it's like riding a wave. Like, the contractions are waves, and now that I did the birthing course, I can understand, like, oh, every time I have a contraction, it's one step closer to getting the baby out, and that I can jive with. Like, that feels good, like, oh, it's working. Like, we're doing this together. Like, he's about to come out. It's just your mindset versus, like, society. We say, like, contractions. Contractions is literally, like, contract, like your muscles, like, get tight.
You're watching on a movie and they're like, oh, here's another one coming.
Oh my God.
And the girl yells for fucking 2 minutes. She's like, ah!
So in hypnobirthing, or in like the prenatal course that we took, the contractions are like waves. Like, you need to open up, like, expand, like, ride the wave. They're expansive. Like, it's just your mindset around even just that pain alone is so different.
Gosh, sounds tough though.
Dude, I still have to give birth, so I'll give you an update after.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're talking all this stuff, like, let's see after.
Yeah.
That's like, you gotta run 50 miles. You feel like, you're like, I'm gonna do it. And then like 20 miles in, your fucking feet are bleeding. You're so tired. Your calves are cramping. You're like, I can't breathe. My chest hurts.
Dude.
And you just want to stop.
But you finish.
You hit that runner's wall. You just have to hit that zone.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I think, I guess a good way to kind of wrap up this podcast episode would be to say that I I don't expect a perfect birth, and I'm very much unattached from the outcome, meaning like whatever has to happen will happen. If I have to get an epidural, if I have to get a C-section, if whatever this baby needs to come into this world, I'm totally okay with. I have my birthing plan. It's kind of like a rough draft, right? Like it's not your vows. It's not our like marriage contract. It's like, you know, it's an idea of like what you want to happen, and you set your intentions around it, and you get support, and like
it's the game plan.
It's the game plan, yeah. And things might have to shift, and like that's okay. And I by no means think that I'm not gonna have a moment where I'm like, holy fuck, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna be like breathing little perfect rainbows and butterflies like it might seem like when we're talking on this podcast. However, I do think that it's going to make a huge difference in the long run. And I'm actually really excited to go through the experience having all the tools that I have now. And I'm like really hoping, and if not, you're going to know it because I'm super honest, but I am really hoping, and I have a lot of faith that I'll be able to come back and say, you know, these are the tools that I did. It did help me. This was the outcome. You could do it too, hopefully.
Yeah.
Right? So we'll see, because we're only like, I'm 33 weeks on Friday.
We're literally like a month away.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost 2 months, but any time between a month and 2 months, I feel like he'll come early. Who knows?
It's about, I mean, literally like 30 days from now, you could happen. Be a little early, but it wouldn't be crazy.
Exactly.
So yeah, we're about 30, 40, 50 days out.
Dude, which is insane.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. So I'm excited.
I'm ready.
I'm ready to see Sarina perform and see what she'll do her thing. Okay. And I'll tell you how she does, guys. It'll be a great episode. That'll be a long episode.
It'll be good. First episode after we give birth.
Yeah, we'll come back to it. But I guess that kind of wraps up the
tools. If you guys have any questions about any of it or recommendations or whatever, or maybe you're like, I'm gonna wait till she gives birth in a couple weeks, and then
that'd be a good follow-up.
And then I want the links.
Yeah, right, because if it doesn't work,
right. But I'm excited to share. I'm feeling really passionate about it. I think I just, I have to go through the experience first.
It's cool to see. That's like when someone's documenting like their fight, like you want to see their pre-camp stuff, like what did they do before, and see it, and then watch it, and then after, like you could reflect. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm excited, but I hope that was helpful. Some different alternative, ways to prepare for birth and labor. If you're a pregnant mama and you look into it.
And there's honestly just more, and I'm such an open book. Like, you can send me a message on Instagram at Aligned with Sarina. Like, I will share so much links and anything you need. Like, I'm definitely all for that. And I think after, like, I'll still be doing a lot of different things parenting wise. And so I'll continue to share. We'll continue to share, what we're doing. Yeah. Sounds good. I love it. All right, you guys. Well, we will catch you in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed. We'll probably have less baby talk. Yeah, maybe switch it up a little bit. I mean, that's what's going on right now. Yeah, so it is what it is. It's on our mind. It's what's on our mind. Yeah. All right, we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace.